Oh, child. Hey, friend. How are y'all? What is going on? Now, are you one of those people who like find yourself forever explaining what you're doing and why? Whew, that's me. But it is time out for the foolery. So let's just break this thing down and let's get to the root of why we do it and why we need to stop. So stick around and let's have a heart to heart. Hey, friends, it is your girl G. For those of you who know me as a pediatrician, it is Dr. G, and this is celebrating all things you. Now, on this channel, I will cover topics in the area of faith, family, and pediatrics. Remember, I'm a pediatrician, I got you and the kiddos. But y'all, I've been heavy on faith lately, and I am just here to share my journey in hopes that it will help you celebrate all the things that God created you to do. And then in the meantime, align your life in a way that's going to glorify Him and so that you can go on and do what you got to do through here. Okay, guys, celebrating all things you and always explaining yourself to someone else. It don't fit. And I am at a season in my life where I am over it. I'm like, why in the world am I forever explaining to someone else what I'm doing and why? Especially when that someone else don't matter. Mm, I don't mean it like that because all God's children's matter. Children matter. We all matter. But I'm talking about in the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't owe you an explanation. So why do I find myself explaining what I'm doing? Y'all. Okay. So there's several reasons why I feel like we do that. And if you are with me, give me a shout in the comments if that is you too. Number one, let's get into this. Validation. Hmm. Is it that we are seeking validation on the low? And I had to check myself on that because recently I found myself explaining myself about my social media and the things that I am doing. Um, I don't need your validation when I believe in my whole heart that I'm called to this. Eh, Why am I doing this? And so what I realized is that I was really putting myself in bondage because I truly don't have to explain myself to you. Now, if you find yourself in that position, like I said, give me a like, give me a holler in the comments. I mean, I got to tell y'all a story. So, I am a general pediatrician, and I'm probably like maybe one of the only ones in my area doing what I do from a social standpoint. And hear me out. I believe that social media is a tool. I believe that I can use this social media to advance God's kingdom, advance His call, advance His purpose so that I can effect change. Like if I say or do something that can make someone else feel better, then that's the whole point. The point is to serve. And I understand the generation that we are in now and the way we're going. Everything is digital. And if you don't really shape up with the times, you're going to get left behind. Look at me rhyming. That sounds real good. But anywho, I look at social media as a tool. Well, everybody don't look at social media as a tool. What they see me as is Dr. Gretchen, um, general pediatrician, who's loving on the babies as soon as they're born, all the way up to my teenagers and all of that. And that's what they see me as. So you put me in. So you put me as what am I saying? Slow down, G, get it together. Okay, that's what you see me as. So you are putting me in this nice little pretty box. But then when I break out of the box and I do something that is outside of what you think I should be doing, then it's a problem because you don't understand the call. And even if you don't understand the call, or you do, it still shouldn't matter. So let me tell y'all what I had started doing. Let me fix my mic. I found myself explaining myself to people. Like, why in the heck am I doing this over and over again? Oh, well, I have a social media manager, or I have this person posting. If I didn't have this person posting, and I was doing it myself. That's my business. And I really had to check myself on that, because what I found is that I was justifying my life and what I wanted to do with my life. And it is time out for that. Sis, how can you celebrate all things you if you're too busy explaining yourself to somebody else about what your vision is, what your call is, what your dream is, and what you want to do? Now, let me say this. I am talking to the woman in the mirror, like for real. And I had to check myself on that. Like it's time out for seeking validation outside of anyone but the Lord, because He is the one that gives us our purposes, who gave us our purposes and calls. And we don't need anybody else to validate that. Now, if there's a true confidant, a mentor that you have, a spiritual advisor, a coach, or someone that is really helping you grow in that thing, that's one thing. But I'm just talking about every run of the mill person that you come in contact with that may mention what you're doing, and then you find yourself in a seat of defense and you feel like you have to justify what you're doing. Okay, sis, it is time out for that. It is time for us to boldly walk in the call, walk in what we are supposed to be walking in, period. Okay, y'all can see that I am on here like rough in the cut, no editing, don't have a script, none of that. I got to give Doe Dash a shout out, because I really love how she wrote on in there with her authenticity. Boo, that part. She's very authentic, she ain't trying to be perfect. She ain't trying to like put on a facade. She's just doing her. So shout out to you, girl, because you're just another confirmation for me to hop on here and do me, period. So again, remember the first point, like, stop on the low seeking validation from others, and that's really the main reason why you trying to validate yourself in the meantime. We done with that. We are done with that. Okay. Point number 2, your purpose, your call, what you do is not up for negotiation. It's not up for debate. We have to walk boldly in the call. We have to walk boldly in the call. I'm going to say that one more time. We have to walk boldly in what we're supposed to do. And if they don't receive it, they don't like this version of you, then listen, shake the dust off and keep it moving, because trust and believe, if God is on your side, you won't fail. If God is in it, if He is in it, you won't fail. Whew, okay. As you can see, I'm just over it. I'm over it. I am over it. And I want you to be over it too, sis. Like, I mean, it's time out for that foolery. Like, it's time out for the foolishness, the foolery. It's time for us to step out on faith. Don't be seeking validation from anyone but God. And number 2, if they can't receive this version of you, this season of who you are, the evolution, then shake the dust off and keep it moving. That meant that they wasn't for you anyway. And so the third thing is, sometimes we find ourselves trying to explain ourselves and all this self-validation and stuff, because maybe we have some past trauma, some past wounds that we dealing with, and that is me. And it may be you. I'm still trying to fix the mic because it's just not wanting me to be great today. Okay, let me tighten it up. Some of us still are dealing with wounds from our childhood, and that's me. For me, it was daddy wounds. Like, my dad did the most, and I have forgiven him. He has since now gone home to be with the Lord, but I got some wounds. that I really had to work through. And if I am triggered, it is really easy for me to revert back to the people pleasing tendencies. And it's time out for that. So I hope in some way this video blessed you. Like, it don't have all the pomp and circumstance. It ain't gonna have the fancy editing. Like, again, shout out to Dodash. This is what it is. I just want us to celebrate all that God created us to be. And the one way we celebrate who he created us to be is stop seeking validation from others. When when did Jesus seek validation from others when he was here on this earth? When? He was 100% confident and walked in authority. He knew his call. He wasn't asking anyone for their approval. He wasn't trying to explain himself to nobody. He boldly walked in who he was called to be. He wasn't like trying to break everything down to everybody to get them to understand. You know, this is what it is. This is what I was called to do. And this is why I was called to do it. And hey, and when people didn't receive him, guess what? He kept it moving. That's it. And that's what we have to do. We got to keep it moving. We got to shake the dust off and we got to keep it moving. And we can't allow past trauma, past wounds to stop us from doing what we know in our heart we're supposed to do. The vision that he's placed in our lives. Like, we are really going to have to divorce ourselves from people pleasing. And even better yet, sis, it is time for us to allow the Lord to heal us. And for me, part of that healing journey has been through therapy. And it may be what you need too to get on through here. So, anywho, y'all know that I've been heavy on from failure to success. I feel like that's where the Lord really wanted me to kind of focus all my attentions here right now, because there is a lot of us that really have been sitting in the seat of failure in certain areas of our lives. And what God wants us to do is to move from failure to success. And one of the ways we do that is making sure that we, oh goodness, making sure that we seek him first, that we stop seeking validation from others, that we walk boldly in what he called us to do. And if somebody can't get with it, shake the dust off and keep it moving, and then do the work. Stop the people pleasing and really get to the root of why we are doing that so that we can celebrate all things us. Gosh. Okay, ragweed in Louisiana won't let me be great. But anywho, I hope that this has blessed you. And let me know in the comments what you think. If you're new here, I am Gretchen, your sis, Dr. G. I'm here to help you celebrate all things you as I unpack my story and embrace who God called me to be. So we can get on through here and do what we got to do, right? Okay. So if you find yourself in a seat of failure right now and you really want some encouragement, I have a story, a testimony of how God blessed me to go from failing the medical college admissions test to getting into medical school and now being a doctor decades later doing the doggone thing by the grace of God. So, um, if you look right here before I end, it's going to be right there. So, watch that video. I hope it encourages you. And I will see you in the next video. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye now.